want to have a practice that's moving forward, find out what are the passions of your people. What are the things that they love? And you don't have to love what they love, but they need to know that you care about what they care about.
Right.
Care. What is it? What is it? And then the second thing, once you know what your passion is and you're fueled with passion, you create higher levels of productivity. Your productivity increases when you're passionate about what you're doing. When your productivity is higher, that affects your what? Profit. Then your profit increases. When your profit increases, then it creates a greater pleasurable working environment. And it becomes this circle where I know my passion, I'm more productive, I'm more profitable, and I'm more pleasant. And I tell them most of the time that somewhere along the line we miss out because we think that it's just you got to be a better hygienist. No, you need to be a better person who's working in hygiene.
Welcome back to the All In, All On X podcast, where we take you behind the scenes of full arch dentistry, innovation, and the people who are redefining what's possible. Here we go beyond the procedures and into the lives of people shaping full arch dentistry. This isn't just about implants or workflows. It's about the lives we build, the decisions we make under pressure, and the leaders who push this profession forward when no one's watching. Get your head straight, because we're about to go all in. Before we get into this episode of the All In, All On X pod, I want to talk to you about something that I use with all of my patients, Stella Life. Stella Life is a pre- and post-op recovery system designed around something that every surgical clinician cares about, healing that actually works. Stella Life's award-winning recovery kit supports accelerated healing, non-toxic antimicrobial patient comfort, and provides a natural alternative to opioids and chlorhexidine without the staining, without the unpleasant taste, and without interfering with fibroblast activity. Stella Life is non-toxic, sugar-free, gluten-free, and is manufactured in a GMP facility in the U.S. It's a system trusted by clinicians like myself who give it away to all of my full arch cases. Trust Stella Life. Less opioids, faster healing, happier patients who know you care. I want to welcome everybody back to the All In, All On X pod. I'm Dr. Adam Hogan, and this is my friend, Mr. Gary Zalesky. And while Gary Zalesky is an interesting individual, I don't even know if we have enough time for this in 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. We might have to make a sequel upon sequels. But, on this pod, we talk about implants, and most dentists talk about implants, but very few talk about leadership and leadership under pressure and passion for what they do. Gary, you epitomize that word passion. We're going to chat about that. Today's guest lives where decision matters, where outcomes are immediate, and leadership is not optional. So this is Gary Zalesky. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, doctor. Thank you for having me, man. I remember the first time I met you, and of course, there's times in our lives where you meet somebody, and within the first 30 seconds, you're going, I think that's enough time. We've had enough time already. Okay. You know what I mean? And then there's other times you meet somebody and you go, man, that's some of a brother that nobody ever talked to me about. And that's what I felt like with you, your hospitality, your sense of engagement. And the thing that hit me the most was your ability to really listen when somebody's speaking to you, which is a fine art as far as I'm concerned.
I'm sorry. Wait, what'd you say? I tuned out for a minute. I'm kidding. I was listening to you the whole way. It was a joke. No, I appreciate it. Same thing with you. You're a tremendous educator. I'll give everyone a little background on how we met. I was looking for somebody for the business course to come in and motivate and inspire people at the Atlantic Implant Institute at the business course. Your name got dropped to me by 2 or 3 people. And at the same time, your wife, who is your producer manager, I guess, and your best half, reached out at the same time. I thought, this is God's way of saying, hey, Adam, look in this direction. All right. Everyone's recommending this guy to come speak for you. And his wife sent you this 37-page CV on how many places Gary has talked. I have got to meet Gary. So you came to the Institute and you put on a dynamite program. I wish, you talked for an hour, hour and a half. I wish I had heard you for 8 hours. I mean, what's your longest speaking gig? Have you ever done a day?
Well, here's what's really wild. I'm not a dentist. And by the way, doctor, you would never want me to be your dentist. Okay. I'm really good. I would really be good at the front of the office, but you wouldn't want me around sharp instruments and cleaning them. Okay. Somebody would get hurt. So the whole when I got invited to dentistry, it was the last thing. I'm not a dentist. I used to go to dentists every once in a while, but it was the farthest thing from my mind. And I got an opportunity to speak for a dental conference,
Yeah.
and there was such a connection between myself, the doctors, and the teams that it opened the door for 25 years of speaking in this incredible family called dentistry. And I'm still to this day having the time of my life doing it. I absolutely love it.
You've spoken, of course, to a lot of dentists. I know you've been to uh, you've been to SIN symposiums, Neodent, Nobel Biocare. I mean, you got. How did you get into speaking to dental groups? Where did that
Oh,
start?
you're going to love this. In fact, getting back to your previous question, the average speaking engagement that's not dental, I do a lot outside the dental industry, is probably 45 minutes to maybe an hour. But in dentistry, because of CE credits, you have to lecture for 3 hours.
Right. Yeah, it's all about this. We all have to keep our licenses. That's what it's all
And
about.
when I tell my other keynote friends, my keynote speaker friends, they go, Gary, how long do you lecture for? I go, 3 hours. They go, I'm sorry, what? I go, yeah, and that's only a half day. That's a half day lecture. So,
Right.
but I got invited. This was like over 25 years ago, and this is a quick story, but it's kind of cool. I got my wife came to me. She goes, "Hey, listen, you got a speaking engagement." I go, "Really? What is it?" She goes, "It's in dentistry." And I went, "Okay, what? What am I doing here?" She goes, but they don't want you to talk about dentistry. They want to talk about humans and humanity
Okay.
in dentistry. I said, okay, I can do that. So Adam, you're gonna love this. So I show up at this cosmetic dental conference. Never been to one before in my life. Show up at the hotel. Man, I mean, there's probably 4,000 people there. There's booths everywhere. And then I get there, and then there's a speaker's table. I go, whoa, a speaker's table. Come on now. And as I'm walking to the speaker's table, I walk by this huge, massive venue where the main speakers are going to be. It's this massive stage. I go, oh man, I'm going to blow this place away. I'm going to bring the best speech I've ever had. This is gonna be a rock concert. So my ego is just pouring out, right? So I walk up to the speaker's table and I go, "Hi, yeah, I'm Gary Zalesky. I'm a speaker here." And they go, "Huh, hang on." And they pull out a list of like 100 names. They go down the list, right? And they go, "Oh, is that Z?" I go, "Yeah." They go, "Oh, hang on. Oh, here you are. Here you are." She goes, "You're in room 51."
Okay. Area 51. I like it
I
already.
go, "What?" "Yeah, you're in room 51." I go, "Okay." And she goes, "Here's a map on how to get to it." I start walking there. I was probably 2 miles from the conference. I mean, my room is as far away from anything. I walk in, I think it's seated about 50 people. I walk in. By the time the speech started, the crowd swelled to about 20 people. I'm in the back of
Uh-huh.
the room. I am so mad. I got 20 people sitting there. I called my wife, Sharice, and I said, honey, she goes, what's the matter? I go, what in the world is this all? You told me I was speaking at a dental conference, and I got 20 people here. And she goes, I said, I'm coming home. I'm not going to stay and speak to 20 people. You know what she said to me? I think you should. You need to come home.
Whoa. Okay.
I said, what? And it threw me. I go, what do you mean? She goes, because those 20 people deserve a lot better than you.
Oh,
Those 20 people
whoa.
came and gave everything. And if you can't give 100% to 20 people, it would probably be better that you just come home. You're right. But
Yeah.
if you give 100% to 20 people, then you're the speaker you're supposed to be. Well, I stayed, man, and it was a
Wow.
rock concert. Little did I know, a guy was doing a taping my message in the back of the room. We never know. He gave it to a guy by the name of Dr. Richard Maddow, who had the largest private dental conference
Hmm.
at the time in Las Vegas. Gave that tape to Richard Maddow. He listened to it. That year, I got invited to go to Vegas and share the stage with Zig Ziglar at one of the largest dental conferences. Why? Because I swallowed my stupid ego, listened to my wife, and I gave
Yeah.
100% to 20 people.
That's actually beautiful because you weren't, you were willing to step up for just one person. And, I give lectures and I give presentations, and sometimes there's 20 some people in the room, sometimes there's two, right? Or sometimes there's 1,000. And to be on your best, no matter what the number is, I mean, that takes a lot of personal fortitude, really, it does.
Yeah.
And also speaks to the opportunity that you were given. As they say, a wise man said, it was probably came from a wise woman if a wise man said it, I'm sure before the man. But a wise woman told a man who told somebody once, luck is preparation meeting opportunity. And you had the opportunity to speak to 20 people, and then this new opportunity, this luck, presented itself to go speak to 2,000 people, I'm sure, right? So you took the leap, and that's
Man,
all you can really do.
on my board that's in front of me right now, I wrote a long time ago, you never know. That is the core of everything I am. You
Yeah.
never know. You never know
Yeah.
who's watching. You never know who's listening. You never know who you're treating. You never know what they're thinking. And so we have to live in a world of trying to be more aware of not us and our needs, but in the people around us. And because the more we continue to think about us, we shrink the world that God has given us. And when I was at your conference, my world opened up. I mean, it was so. First of all, it was fun. Okay, it was fun, but it opened up my awareness of there's so much possibilities when it comes to dentistry right now. We have the opportunity in dentistry to change the course of what it really means to treat people like human beings and make them feel vitally important. That can happen in dentistry. I truly believe that, and it is happening.
Yeah, well, the ability to change lives. I mean, it happens on so many fronts. I mean, we do it in teeth, all on four dental. Whether it be one implant, whether it be one crown, one veneer, something makes somebody feel good about themselves. I mean, I think you're doing the same thing on the stage, because you talk about passion. I've seen a couple of books. You have how many books do you have? I've seen at least two, and they
I've
both
got
have the
three
word
books,
passion.
and I
Three books.
we just finished another one, which I'm very excited about, but that's another day.
Oh no, well, no. I mean, tell me about the new book.
Yeah, it's probably it took me a year and a half to write, and when we go offline, I'll tell you more about it. But it's probably one of the most unique works that I've been able to participate in a long time. So, and it's on leadership. It has kind of a faith-based taste to it, but it's for everybody. It's across the board.
This segment is brought to you by JB Dental Lab, your go-to partner for full arch prosthetics, zirconia, PMMA, and digital workflow. With a proprietary portal, in-house designers, and an advanced education center, you will experience reliability, precision, and consistency. Visit jbdentallab.com. I want to share something here. I have one of your books here pulled up. Where is the passion, the passion, the passion? We've got here passion. Oh, this is all about you. Look at all this. This is what
There it
Google
is.
thinks of Gary Zalesky right here. Yeah, a lot of good looks, man. You're a good looking guy. A lot of pink. I guess it's got to be in passion if it's going to be pink. Well, there that link goes to X. But this book, you gave us all a copy of this book. This was a great little read. Here it is on Amazon. It's only 11, 12 bucks on Amazon. You guys all have to buy it. Tell me about this book. What do we see in here?
Well, the book really came about from my wife, Cherise. This was years ago, and she was trying to come up with a brand for me. When you go out and you have to have a brand. And so one night, it was like at midnight, she wakes up out of a sound sleep. She wakes up at me and she looks at me and she goes, oh, this is amazing. This is amazing. I have an idea. And I'm going, I'm a man. Laying next to my wife. I'm going, great. What would that idea be?
Yeah.
And she goes, I know what your brand is. I go, really? That's what this is, my brand? She goes, Gary, listen to me. You are, without a doubt, the most passionate person I've ever met in my life. You are passionate about passion. She goes, when somebody is sharing something that they truly love, you are sucked in. You love it. When they're not, you disengage immediately. You love to be around people that believe in something bigger than themselves. You're a passion guy. So I started this whole investigation of what passion really is. And most people really have a misinterpretation of that word. They don't understand the essence of what that word really means. So when I began to study this whole thing on passion, I started speaking in dentistry, right? Well,
Mm-hmm.
you know how anal retentive dentists are, right? So, so
A little bit.
I would,
A little bit.
so I would go, and their humor, of course, is out of control. So what happens was I would go speak to these dental meetings, and I would talk about passion. But you could tell that for the dentist who is trying to figure out, who's thinking A, B, C, D, I was speaking ethereal. They didn't get it. So I really wanted to come up with something that had methodology, that had a system to it, that a
Mm-hmm.
dentist could use in their office, and I did. And now it has become this idea of, if you really want to measure the success of your office, don't do it based on a person's position. You do it based on a person's passion. What are they passionate about? Like, dentists are so freaky. They're the freakiest people I've ever met in my life, because a dentist, they have most people have two brains. They have a left brain and a right brain, right? Dentists have three brains. They have the left brain, which is a very clinical side, because they have to do clinical. They have to maintain a clinical measuring process. But on the other side, they have a relational, because on the right side, they have to maintain an artistic ability to recreate. So it's not just clinical, it's artistic. So they go back and forth from left brain to right brain. The middle brain is this bridge that goes back and forth. That brain right there is the one that freaks dentists out and the people that work for them. I'll give you an example. If you talk to any dentist, right, and they're talking, if you talk to them, if you really want to find out what they're about, you stay after for networking, and you go to the bar. Okay, you go to where they're having a happy hour. Dentists suddenly reveal themselves in a way you can't even begin to imagine, because
Sure.
then they start talking about their hobbies. They start talking about what they do on the weekend. They start talking about the things they love, and it is as far away from what they do daily in that practice as you can imagine. So there's this psycho side of a dentist, whether female or male, that is absolutely crazy. And that craziness, unfortunately, they save it for the weekends rather than having it come into their practice. I teach that you could take your passion and bring it to your position. So and I do passion makeovers for dentists. I was in this one dental practice, and I go, why is your dental practice so boring? Why is it so stinking boring? Why is this off? Is there something in writing where when you go
Yeah.
into a dental practice, it has to be so clinical and so boring that even the way you reward your employees is a bunch of plaques that look exactly the same on a wall. You put it's like employee of the month, and man, it's nothing individual. If you really want to get them excited, you give them a parking spot closer to the office.
Yes.
Are you serious? Right? So
Right.
I'm going, man, you've got to open up this office, make it look like something you really love. So I go into this office, this practice, and I spend like 4 or 5 days with the team. I don't like staff. I don't like the word staff. To me, staff is an infection. Okay.
Yes.
It's something you catch and get rid of. I like the team. So in my time with them, I discover I go around and find everybody's passion. Here's, this is going to blow your mind. The passion of the doctor is an ortho guy. Okay. You know, orthos are freaky anyway. They see like 700 people in one day, right? This is so funny.
Right.
So this ortho doctor, very, very stiff, very, right? But we found out that his passion, which nobody knew, even somebody who worked with him for 25 years, never knew this. His passion was guitars. He loved guitars, but nobody
All right.
knew it. He not
So
only
why
loved guitars,
aren't they on the wall in the clinic? Why aren't they all hanging up?
not one guitar,
Wow.
but he had a warehouse full of guitars a warehouse, over $1.5 million worth of guitars.
Wow,
In
no
a
kidding. That's a lot of ortho. That's a lot of straightening of teeth.
So I said,
Right.
Doc, why don't you have a guitar hanging on your wall? He goes, I think that would be unprofessional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hang a guitar on your wall, you will not be able to perform dentistry. So
Yeah.
he did a complete passion makeover of his office. He had the whole floor redone, and as you walk into his practice, there's guitars under plexiglass as you on the floor. So you're walking over guitars. I mean,
Yeah.
his practice looks like the Hard Rock Cafe.
That's really badass, actually. I would love that. Walk in there and see that, like the
It's
glass, and you're walking over all these old guitars. I mean, the
we got
feeling
we got to get
the
past.
patients would feel good. They would feel great.
Why
Yeah.
not?
I mean, I've got a buddy and he's got surfboards hanging up all over his office. And you know what? It makes him feel real. It makes him feel like, okay, this is a guy I can talk to about something else. Because dentists, I mean, yeah, they have this stigma of kind of being this geeky, dorky, and you said anal retentive. You know, we prefer to call it obsessive compulsive. We reserve anal retentive for the proctologist. That's their term, not ours. Okay. Oh, I wanted to correct you on something else. You said dentists were humorous. I mean, I think we're just living through pain and misery, and you just see that coming out in a lot of ways. But this whole thing of the dentist's office being the stigma of the dental office, and it looking and smelling like a dental office. My patients, when they come in here, after they've been here a time or two, they're like, this doesn't feel like a dental office. It really doesn't, because people are laughing, they're joking, they're having a good time. And it's not unusual
What
to
is
hear
it?
a bunch of people just it's not unusual to hear a bunch of people just hooting and hollering and having a great time. And I have to walk by and go, hey, you know what? Stop. I don't know if you know this, but this is a dental office. There's supposed to be pain and misery and fear here. So everybody stop having a good time. Yeah.
Well, I will say, Adam, that you are, how do I say this? You are a little different than
My mother's been telling me this for a long time.
because I definitely don't want to put a big old stereotype on dentists. I don't, because some of my deepest, closest friends over the years have been dentists, phenomenal people. And just because they're serious, that doesn't mean they're not fun. But I will say this, that when it comes to the office itself, the dental practice, we need to understand that people remember two things when they come to a practice. They really do. When you boil it down, a person remembers how they felt when they first walked in. They remember how they felt, not what they thought, but how did they feel when they first walked in that office? And more importantly, they remember how they felt when they left. And
Right.
so what happens in between is important. I guarantee that. But I'm telling you, the way they're treated when they first walk in and the way they treated when they leave is totally important, because sometimes I will go into dental practices where I live, where nobody knows me. I'll go walk into that dental practice just to do a secret shopper.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
I'll
it's
walk
great.
in. What's that?
That's a great service. You do this for doctors' offices as a consultant?
No, I've never thought of it. I just did it for fun. So,
Oh,
but most of the time when I walk in, the front desk, and I talk about this, I go, the front desk is like, it's like the gatekeepers of the office. They're the gatekeepers, you know. They're
yeah.
like, you will not go past this unless you have money. Do have money, right? And the problem is, many times the people at that front desk, the only way they got the job is because they're related to somebody in the office, right? They
Maybe.
just their demeanor is less than fun. I tell people, if you have a person in your practice, a staff member who's outgoing, really outgoing, then put them outgoing. Put them in the front. If you have a person who's still trying to find their personality, put them in the back of the office, right?
Yeah.
Put them in the back, and that's fine, because
Yeah.
people, when they walk in, man, they want to. I went into one office, and this is true. I started they go, "Do you have an appointment?" And the girl who was waiting on me never looked up from never looked up from the desk.
Mhm.
Never. She talked
Right.
to me like this. So finally, at one point, I just put my head down like this. I go, "Hey, can we talk for a second?"
Yeah.
Because
Right.
they don't realize it. So, but
how do
I
I
think
get
a
how do
dental
I get on?
practice, man, it's got to be probably a place where there's enthusiasm, passion, serious. It's not Disneyland. It's work, but where people really have each other's back and never stab each other in the back. That's a true dental practice for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the hallmark of any good business, you know, that culture of teamwork, helping each other out. I got your back, you got mine, and, you know, sort of we're all here for the common mission, and we want to make each other's lives busy. I mean, that's a bigger part of the culture lecture. I mean, the accountability of the culture lecture, right? How do you teach how do you go on teaching culture of accountability with, hey, let's have a good time and be passionate about what we do?
Yeah, I think when it comes to the culture of the office, I think there's that many times we mix information with transformation. That we want to disperse a ton of information, but how much of that information that's being dispersed is really translating into a transformation within the culture. And I think that when it comes to dentists, even some of the hiring practices that dentists have just just freak me out sometimes because, and again, I'm not trying to paint a large brush, but I've been in practice management for a long time. I've been in hundreds of practices, and I think I've seen it all. But I was in this one practice, and the dentist was getting ready. They go, Sally, as you all know, Sally has left, and so we now have an opening here, and he said to the team, do you know anybody that might be available to come in and, and work for us?
Right. Right.
Do you know anybody that might be able to come in and work? And this one woman, I'm not exaggerating, she raised her hand. She goes, I have a friend who just got out of detox and she's got a ton of time on her hands. And I think an excellent person to come in. Well, what's one of the number one things surgeons or dentists across the board, one of the things they complain about the most is turnover in their practice. Is
Right.
the amount of people that come and go, come and go. And I said, the next time you hire somebody, you might want to get some of your key players on the team and let them do the interview because
Sure.
that
Yeah.
person's going to be part of that team.
No, I agree with that. To an extent, though, because sometimes when, I found this to be true, that when you let the team pick who is going to come into the practice, that person, they're picking them for their own reasons, right? They're not really picking them for the overall business of it's like, well, this person I like, and I can get along with them, So I always say, if you have a suggestion for somebody to work in this office and it happens to be a friend of yours, understand that you have to work with all of your friends' worst traits. This isn't just your buddy, because you have to be able to count on this person and rely on them to do their job. Because if you're hiring your best friend and they don't, and that they're always late to work because they tell you that on the phone, you're going to have a coworker who's always late. If you know that they always like to, they don't take their job seriously, you're going to have someone sitting next to you who's not taking their job seriously. And then you have to pick up the pieces. So I want to hear your recommendations and I want to know that you want this person to be in the office, but also understand that this person isn't just a buddy. And,
Yes.
this is a person that needs to be accountable to you and you're accountable to them. Because if it's just your buddy, you're going to end up working harder, 10%, 25% harder, 50% harder because we hired somebody that's likable to you. So you got to be really careful with that as well.
I totally agree, Doc, because I don't know if I heard this from you, but I heard recently that there's a practice has come doing a new hiring process where they are not hiring people that are talented.
Yeah.
They're not hiring people based on their talent or their knowledge within, whether it be a front desk or a person, an assistant or a hygienist. They're not hiring based on their knowledge. They're hiring based on their personality and presence
Right.
because they can teach the other, but you cannot teach character. You cannot teach loyalty. You cannot teach that work ethic. So I think that we're coming to a place where, and again, I tell dentists all the time, don't hire what you think you deserve. Hire what you can't possibly afford that is over and above what you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have a matrix. I do talk about this a lot, and maybe you heard my, a couple of years ago when we were
And
together
was
at the
you?
business seminar. I think we talked about this, but I have a matrix. I have a whole matrix on hiring, and there's two parts of the matrix. The x-axis is loyalty, and the y-axis is integrity, and it's truthfulness and loyalty, and that's it. And I don't mean loyal. Everyone always says, loyalty to you. No, this isn't loyalty to me. It's loyalty to anything other than yourself and money. If it can't, your driving factor in your life can't be yourself, your ego, or your position in life or money. It has to be, it can be the team. It can be the patients. It can be God. It could be humanity. It could be just doing good work, but you have to have loyalty to something other than yourself and money. And you have to be honest. And if you are anywhere and you're on this XY axis, and if you're, you got to be over like a 9 integrity, right? And 8.5 integrity. But then there's this loyalty and, you're 6, 7, hopefully you're getting there. And I can find a position for you, whether it's, whether you're the doctor doing surgery or whether you're cleaning the bathroom or just greeting patients at the front desk, if you have high integrity and high loyalty, we can find you a job. If we have an open position, we'll find something within your capacity. So I have a
Absolutely.
lot more that goes on that, but I think that's the way the military looks for people to run special operations. We don't want necessarily the best shooter on the team. We want the person we can rely on to be there for the team when they need to be there, and not run away and preserve their own presence and their own, life. And, somebody that's going to be there for the team whenever they need it.
Yeah, it's I hurt for dentists sometimes because female or male, whatever, because there's a lot of plates that are spinning, and I think that one of the things that I speak to when I go into a conference or practice, whatever, is that really appreciate where that dentist is coming from because they a lot of what they're expected to do within that business was not taught to them at dental school. They
Yeah.
did not learn some of the relational situations that they come upon every single day. And that's why I really appreciate guys like yourself that even do a podcast like this, where, because I've been listening to your podcast and I think I'm going to go
Thanks.
back to dental school and maybe give it a shot. I don't know. But I've been listening to your
Don't do
podcast
it.
and
Don't do it.
and you have this variety of of guests and many of them are very clinical, right? And of course I am very not clinical, and I enjoy it because there's that whoever you are, when you listen to your podcast, whoever that person is, you bring in this sense of personality and fun that you bring out in your guest, and it makes the podcast worth listening to, where you're not using it as some kind of sedation tool in the middle of the night. But it's because so many podcasts, they're absolutely so boring at the end of the day. But you have this ability, and this is leadership. You have the ability to bring out in a person sometimes the things that they didn't even know that was inside of them. That's the key to leadership. And when you're a dentist in a practice, here's the question: what are you bringing out in the people that work for you?
Hey, JB Dental Lab is the lab that full arch clinicians trust when precision truly matters. JB combines advanced digital workflows, photogrammetry compatibility, expert design teams, and high strength zirconia to deliver prosthetics that fit, function, and last. Their communication is top tier. Their turnaround times are reliable. Quality is the reason that so many high volume, all on X practices partner with JB Labs. Visit jbdentallab.com for reliable quality, full arch support. Tell them that the All In, All on X pod sent you.
I tell people all the time, when the door shuts in the parking lot as you're walking to the practice, what's going through your mind on the way into that office? Are you processing this? I wonder how many things they didn't get done that I told them to do. Or are you processing this? I'm elevating my gratitude today above my expectation. And
Right.
for the first 10 minutes, when I walk into that office, instead of saying, I knew it wouldn't happen, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
That's that's leadership 101, man.
Well, first of all, thank you for that was very flattering. And I appreciate that. And I do work hard at it. But so thank you very much. But two, it's not easy to be a perfect leader all day long, 365 days a year. We make mistakes as well. So you would say, when you're walking in the parking lot, you got the devil over here, the negative part of the amygdala back here. And it's like, I'll bet they didn't do this. I'll bet they didn't do that. And I can't, so-and-so's going to be, I can't wait to see so-and-so's bad attitude, right? I know they're going to be tired talking about how they didn't sleep last night. And then you got to walk through the door and be like, hey, love to see you guys. This is great. So
No,
you got the devil and you got the angel
only
on
for
each
10 minutes.
shoulder.
Only for 10 minutes.
Yeah. And, but as a leader, it's hard because I know that everybody's trying. And if I didn't think they were trying, I mean, let's find you somewhere else to work. Okay. I'm not saying you're getting fired, but I'm going to say you're going to voluntarily find somewhere else to work. Because if you're not trying, you don't belong here. But so when people make mistakes, whether it's, they forgot to call a patient or they dropped the $50,000 machine on the floor and it's broken and we don't have another one for a week, I know they didn't intentionally try to do it. Right. I better knock on something here right now. I know they didn't intentionally try to do it. If I thought they intentionally tried to do it, they would be fired. Get out of here. Go somewhere else. Right. So, you have to understand people make mistakes. And as long as they're trying, you got to have a little bit of forgiveness. Now, do I go home at night and be like, oh, God damn it, that person did it again? Sometimes, you know, like, what is it going to take to get you to do the thing? You know, but at the same time, I love them and I know they're trying, and so you got to try not to, Mitch Albom wrote a book. Mitch Albom's, who Mitch Albom is? He's a good writer, editorial journalist. He wrote some good, simple books that are great lessons. And he wrote a book on raising kids. And one of the chapters as the kid becomes an adolescent or a teenager the title of the chapter is Try Not to Kill the Creepy Centipede Right Away. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, the
You know,
kid's trying.
by the way, I owe you an on-air apology.
Why?
Dr. Adams sent me a photograph a couple of days ago of his son,
Oh,
his
that's all right.
boy, his boy, right?
That's all right.
So I'm glancing at it. I glanced. And I'm telling you guys, I'm just, if you were to see this picture, you would go, that is the most precious looking girl I've ever seen. I mean, it's got to be the most good looking little boy I've ever seen in my life. And so you were so kind to text me back and go, yeah, Gary, that's my son.
That's my son.
And so I did text you right away and said, but your son, bro. And I want to say this to you. Oh, there he is. Now, come on, guys. I know that's got the blue, but look at those cheeks. Look at that. Look at those rosy cheeks. Look at the little nose. Come on, give me a break here, right?
Yeah.
And plus, he looks like his dad a little bit there too. So anyway,
well, listen,
I just want to apologize.
I don't get offended on it.
He's
I mean,
so cute, bro.
He turned 1. He's got these big blue eyes, those big lashes.
Look at that. Yeah, you can't blame me.
Yeah. By the way, that's my I've had that sweatshirt since college, 30 years. And I keep it in good condition because I call it vintage. But Allie, we took this picture on him on his first birthday, and Allie says, now you have to keep that sweatshirt until he's 18 and get a picture of him every day.
When you have kids, your love for those kids, your love for your family, that's the priority of everything we do. Everything we do has got to be that. And you think, and I know people have said this before, but let me say it from my perspective. You believe at that point when you have your children, there's nothing you could love more than your babies, than your kids, until you become a grandfather.
I can only imagine.
And I'm telling you, when I became a granddad, in fact, I moved to where I'm at right now just to be closer to my grandchildren. You just can't believe, because being a grandfather is even better, I think, because my grandkids are kind of like a rent-a-child, because
yeah, I get it.
They come to my house. There's 3 of them, age 5, 7, and 9. You could actually feel the wind before they get to my house, right? And they come to my house, and my wife nurtures different than I do. I'm good for about 2.5 hours, and then I start shaking.
Okay.
And then I just hand them back. I hand them back to my daughter and son-in-law. But when I saw you and with your boy, what's your son's name?
That's Brecken. That's my youngest, Brecken. Yeah.
This is the thought that came to my mind. There were times in my life as I was in a speaking engagement and still a little bit, not as much as I used to be, that I would save the best of me for my audience all day. They would get the best of me. I would speak for that final applause, that standing O. If somebody saw me in the hallway, no matter how tired I was, engagement, because I knew that was my living. That's how I made a living. And plus, I loved doing it. Here's the issue. Sometimes I gave so much of myself away during the day that when I got home, I would serve my emotional leftovers to my family.
Yeah.
They never asked for that. They wanted, when I got home, that, wait a minute, aren't you supposed to save the best of you for me? And I'm not saying I've done it beautifully, because my wife's not here, so I can say pretty much everything I want. But I'm always aware that when I get home, what am I serving? What what are the things that I'm serving? Because I think sometimes, familiarity does breed contempt. And I need to slow down and go, what's really important? I need to, and I even tell my audiences this. I say, today honestly, guys, today I'm not going to give you my best. I'm sorry. I'm going to give you everything I can, but you will not get my best today. I'm sorry, because I'm saving that portion for my family.
For my family.
And when
Yeah.
I saw your picture, I go, well done, Adam. Well done, my brother.
Well, thank you very much. Now that's something that we should talk about, what we give to our families. I think that this is a great, like I say, these podcasts, these are just flow, go with the flow. There's no script, but doctors out there working so hard at their careers and putting in all that energy. And what do you save when you go home? So, I'm getting to be older. I'm not an old sage yet, but this is my second go around at having kids. All right. I've got a 24-year-old, one who's about to be 20, and they're my best bros. I mean, we golf, we shoot, we can hunt, we can talk man stuff. They're still my boys, but we're good buddies. And then I got this one who just turned one, Brecken. And I gotta be honest with you, when I was 30 and trying to find myself and trying to put my energy into growing myself, it was hard to go home and have a lot of energy. Now, that being said, I did coach for the boys. I was there, I would try to be there, and I was there to get them up in the morning, feed them breakfast and all that. But I was always there for them, but to be there with all that energy. And right now I'm making that conscious effort when I go home to try to be there with all that effort and all that energy. 39,
By the way,
minutes.
this is totally sidebar. I really miss hanging out with you, man. I mean, I love doing this. I really do. But
Yeah.
when I want to hang out with this dude. You're the kind of guy you want to hang out with, and I don't say that about a whole lot of people. I mean, there's people I meet every day, and I go, "Wow, what's it like getting up in the morning?" And going, "Oh, that's the best it's going to get." You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you've
That's
got
nice.
you've got this level of passion, enthusiasm that's very contagious. So I really appreciate it about you.
Well, thanks. I'm appreciative to be alive, I'm appreciative to be able to do this. I mean, I never expected to make it to 30, and that's a whole nother story, join the Marine Corps, and you're 10 feet tall and bulletproof, and you really don't want to grow old, and you don't think you're going to grow old. And then one day you turn around and you hit 30, and then all of a sudden you hit 40, and then all of a sudden I hit 50 recently. And I'm like, well, damn, I guess I'm going to be around a little while, maybe. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
and I've had a lot of bumps in the road. I'm fortunate to be alive, and I'm fortunate to be doing this well, really. I mean, that's all just God's blessings. But, getting back to doctors going home and giving everything when you get home, like you said, you talk all day, uh, and you get home and you're kind of out of energy, but those people deserve the best. My wife has said this to me before, because she works in the office, and I'm in the front, I'm in the clinic, she's in the back, but we see each other often, and we'll get home and I'll be quiet, and she'll say, you talked to everybody all day. You had everybody rolling. You had everybody joking. Everybody was having a great time. Why aren't you talking to me? And I'd be like, I'm tired. I'm spent, and that was my response, old me, a couple of years ago. And I'm like, I'm just tired. Like, I've talked all day. Do I have to talk more? She's like, yeah, now it's my turn. Now you have to, so I don't know. I
It's
started
hard.
doing that.
My daughter, she's what? She's 33 now. Just turned 34. And a couple of days ago, I said, Nicole, how you feel? She goes, Dad, I'm tired. I go, you're tired? She goes, I've been tired for 9 years. And I said, it's funny. We're all tired. All of us are tired.
Yeah,
All of us are tired.
that's right.
But it's what you're tired of.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, I tell people when I'm speaking, I'll say, how many of you are tired right now? Hands are going up all over. I go, isn't it funny that we spend our whole life really tired? Some of you wake up, you actually wake up tired,
That's right.
right?
Yeah.
You're tired all the time. I go, what's really wild is we're tired all of our lives, and then we save money on the side. We put some money on the side so that at the end of our lives, we can what? Retire.
Right.
We weren't tired enough our whole life. Now, when do we want to what? Well, we're going to retire. We're going to redo it again. And I said the people that I've been around that have a level of energy and are tired, but they have something more is some people that know who they are. They know their passion. They know the one thing that gives them the human fuel, the thing that keeps them alive, the thing that brings them the greatest joy, which is what I'm all about. When I go into practices, I have kind of a cycle that I talk about. Like I talk about, first of all, if you really want to have a practice that's moving forward, find out what are the passions of your people. What are the things that they love, and you don't have to love what they love, but they need to know that you care about what they care about.
Right.
Care what is it? What is it? And then the second thing, once you know what your passion is, and you're fueled with passion, you create higher levels of productivity. Your productivity increases when you're passionate about what you're doing. When your productivity is higher, that affects your what? Profit. Then your profit increases. When your profit increases, then it creates a greater pleasurable working environment. And it becomes this circle where I know my passion, I'm more productive, I'm more profitable, and I'm more pleasant. And I tell them most of the time that somewhere along the line we miss out because we think that it's just you got to be a better hygienist. No, you need to be a better person who's working in hygiene.
Do you want a stronger full arch foundation? Join myself, Dr. Adam Hogan, Dr. Brandon Koford, and Dr. Athena Goodarzi for Core Bootcamp Fundamentals with Cadaver Lab. Clinical surgical prosthetic training. Also, business training with hands-on sessions, live patient surgery, and a cadaver lab. Register today, theatlanticImplantInstitute.com.
Well, you need to be a better front office person. Here, we're going to bring in a practice manager people to teach you how to do that. Well, yeah. I remember when I first go into these practice, I didn't even know what practice management was, but they write me a check. I go, okay, I'll figure it out, right? And I would go in, and I knew the people that were passionate, and it had nothing to do with how long they were there. It had to do with why they never forgot why they were there. And I remember walking in, and this one woman, she just pulled me aside. There's always one team member, they'll pull you aside to the side. And she goes, "Hey, Gary," I go, "What?" She goes, "Things would be a lot better in this office if there was more of me here. There's more of me."
Okay.
And I looked at her and I said, "Well, I think there's just enough of you here. Just enough." Because people that show up at a dental practice, they know how to live in rigid flexibility. They knew how to maintain the rigid goals of that office, but they know that when disappointments comes, that you can be flexible in the moment. Surgery, I can't imagine. I mean, I would beg you guys at least one time to let me come in and watch. I want to watch what you do.
Yeah.
And because I think that what you do is so magical. But sometimes the team isn't as magical about it as you are. And if you look at dental practice, I mean this with all my heart, where a dentist is losing revenue at sometimes at 50% of it walking out the door, it's not because of the ability of the dentist to do dentistry. It has nothing to do. They know what they're doing. It's not the dentist. It's the team. And here's what's going to blow my mind. And I'll shut up after this. And just help me with this, Doc. Why is it when I walk, and I'm not talking about every day. I don't mean to be negative. I'm not talking about every practice, but there are some where I walked into that practice and there's one person in that practice that is bringing everybody down. They're sucking life out of them, man. You walk around, and somehow the dentist has a hard time getting rid of that one person.
Right.
They will keep that one person almost to the sacrifice of the entire team.
Yeah. You're asking the why? I mean, I see it all the time too. And it's a leadership fault. It's a leadership fault, keeping somebody around too long. And because you're afraid about addressing the situation, you're afraid about going after it, the elephant in the room, you just want it to go away. You want it to work itself out. You have other important things to do and you ignore it and you ignore it and you ignore it. And then 3 months becomes 3 years. And next thing you know, you had 9 people walk out the door in the last 3 years because of this person and because you didn't step in early, and just address the problem in the room. I mean, people have different words for it. Call a spade, right? Call the bull, right? Let's hold court. I always say, let's hold court. We're going to have a coming to Jesus meeting. What's with this BS going on right now? And call that person in and say, look, if you don't, what's going on? And they're usually like, well, okay, I'm having a really bad time at home. I'm in a bad mood. My husband, my kids, whatever. Okay, well, address it, fix it. But when you come in here, you need to be better. Okay, I get it. You're going through a rough patch, but you got to come back and you got to be better. We're not going to put up with this crap for a long time here, so fix it, so it's a leadership problem. It's absolutely a leadership problem.
It's
You keep one person too long and next thing you know, you're rehiring 9 people over the next 18 months.
I tell new employees, maybe I'm wrong here. You're the doctor, I'm not, but I tell new employees, that, especially that work in a dental practice, I go, find the person in that practice that's still excited about being here. Stay with that person, hang out with that person, learn from that person. Be careful of the people that are saying negatives, especially about the doctor. I said, find that person that still has that sense of awe, and they've been there 20 years, because those people do exist,
Mhm.
and I just, because a dental practice is very bizarre. It's a very bizarre place, but I've seen some of the most amazing life-changing experiences happen
Yeah.
to people's lives in a dental practice. And I think that's why I'm still in love with doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm 74 now, and to still have a guy like yourself say, "Hey, let's bring that old guy in and let him say a few things,"
Is that what
I
I sound
I
like?
still I find so much joy because I really love dentistry. I love what you guys do. I love the teams that are still out there making it happen. I love the
Yeah.
belief systems. I
Yeah.
love the patient testimonies where they went in. My wife, for instance, she never smiled ever, ever. Her whole life never smiled until she met a dentist who literally recreated her smile. And she
Mhm.
owes her life to that guy. Sometimes it's kind of weird, but anyway, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you guys are just phenomenal. And I'm so honored and privileged to still be at least part of the dental family at some level.
Well, 74 or not, you got so much, not just life, like physically, but you've got more life in your words than I see in people that are 17. I mean, and so, I don't know, was that taught or were you just born with that? This enthusiasm. And how can a dentist find their way, find themselves? How do they fake it till they make it? When you're young and they think, oh, I need to be the clinician and I can't put guitars on the wall or surfboards and I have to do it a certain way. And how do you get them to find their own confidence and find their own passion? And when did you find that?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me give you a definition of passion. This is going to blow everybody away real quick. Ready? The archaic definition of the word passion means pain or suffering.
Hmm. Really?
Passion is not the pursuit of pleasure. Passion is the pursuit of purpose.
I love it.
Passion is not what you do, it's what you're becoming in what you're doing. It's the person that you're becoming. So the first thing I tell dentists is, let's find out what your passion is. And if you really want to discover it, go to your childhood. Go back to your childhood, because there's things you did in your childhood that people said, you are so good at that. You are so fun. And when you were real little, when you were tiny, your parents would say, what do you want to be when you grow up? And when they said, what do you want to be? Your imagination exploded. Oh, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that. And you believed you could be anything. And then one day somebody said to you, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And when they said you do, they sabotage the being, because now that you're doing, you have to have the gifts, talents, finances, the ability, all of that in order to fulfill that. That's nonsense. What you be, what you understand who you are, what you're here to be, all of that giftings will come to you to make it happen. So the first thing especially when I work with dentists and coaching, I go, what do you want to be when you grow up? Gary, I'm 45. I know. What do you want to be when you grow up? What's your passion? What's the thing that energizes you? See, for me, honestly, I know what my passion is, and I've never lost it. And when COVID hit, and my whole world was spinning out of control, and I went into some kind of massive depression, I went back and I read my book, and I found out the passion inside of me, the thing that I love the most, never left. I had to get back to the one thing that gave me the greatest fulfillment. And so most guys and women, they're not living their passion, they're living their problems. They're not passionate, they're problem driven. And so especially when I work with dentists, because they got so much going on in their world, I try to center them. When you were a little kid, what was the thing you did that was amazing? And people went, wow. And that you thought it would be impossible, but you never, it was always, I'll give you one quick story. That'll be really fast. But I was speaking, and this dentist came up after my passion speech, and he was a well-known speaking dentist. He lectured everywhere. And he walks up to me, he's mad. He goes, I hate you. I go, what's the matter? He goes, I hate you. I go, what's the matter? I go, I thought it was dead. I thought it was dead. And he was screaming at me. I go, what? He goes, my passion. I thought it was dead. I go, what are you talking about, man? I just finished a 3-hour lecture. I'm exhausted. He goes, Gary, when I was 7 years old, my sister had a birthday party. Now, Doc, I'm trying to give him my attention. But hello, wait, how long is this going to go for, right? He goes, right. And she got a paint by number set. I'm going, great. And then he goes, so when nobody was looking, I stole her paint by number set. Okay. I took it to my bedroom. When I opened up one of the little paint things and I dipped the brush in the paint and I touched the paint to the paper, I knew at that moment I wanted to be an artist. Then my dad walked into my room, and he was a dentist. And he saw me with that paint, and he looked at me. He goes, what in the world are you doing? He goes, Dad, I want to be an artist. His dad said to him, your sister's the artist. You're going to be a dentist. And he went on to not only be a dentist, probably one of the best, you would know him, lectures, he's had television shows, he went on. And he said to me, he goes, you know what, Gary? I was able to buy this big old house with all the money I've made in dentistry. Every room is filled with art from all over the world, because every time I walk by an art studio, something is calling me. And I walk in there and I buy art, and there's art in every room in my mansion. And I looked at him, I said, which piece of art did you do? Tears. He goes, I've never painted. And he grabbed me emotionally. He goes, so what do I do now? Well, as you know, I'm not a counselor. You wouldn't want me to be your counselor, right? I look at him, I go, well, paint.
Yeah.
Passion doesn't have to be perfect, but it does have to be performed. So if you're listening to me right now and you're going, where I'm confused, I don't know, I don't understand, I have lack of direction, I would love to hear from you, because I know I can help you. So, by the way, he goes, what should I paint? I go, paint your car. I don't really care what you paint.
Yeah.
3 months later, I received a painting in the mail. It was his first painting.
That's
now,
gorgeous.
Granted, I kept going. It was the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. But the beauty of it was he painted.
Yeah.
Passion.
He found his purpose. He found his passion. Reminds me of this back here. Okay. I did this guy's teeth, his smile, he's a retired corporate executive businessman. And he, as I finished his teeth, he pulls up a Facebook page and he's like, basically, let me show you what I'm really all about, what I really love. And this guy starts he's got a page dedicated to Facebook. Now, mind you, business his whole life, but look at what he's turning out now. Okay, look at this.
Wow. Oh, wow.
That's all hand drawn with pencils.
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy?
That's
Yeah. And I was
beautiful.
looking through his Facebook page and I said, stop. And I looked at this picture. I said, that is
Oh,
phenomenal.
doc, that's
That is,
gorgeous.
and so he
Wow.
showed up a few days or weeks later and he brought it to me. Is
You
that
know,
crazy? Good.
that oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Here's what's interesting. I cannot believe you're showing me that picture right now. I'm getting goosebumps, and here's why. The first time the word passion was uttered from a human being was at the Passion of the Christ.
Mhm.
People would look, they looked at the suffering of Christ, and they began to say, passion, passion. What they were declaring was pain, pain.
Mhm.
But here's what's wild, not getting religious, but getting powerful. Here it is. Ready?
Right.
At the time of Christ's greatest defeat, of his greatest pain, was the discovery of his greatest purpose.
I
That's,
loved it.
oh, man,
You know,
I'm
when
ready to go, man. I'm ready to rock.
well, I know you're a man of faith, as am I. But you know, when you said earlier, passion is pain, that's what I thought of right there. That's what I thought of, and the
Everything.
Passion of the Christ. You know, so and it's funny because I knew Passion of the Christ, I knew passion and pain, but I never thought in the this sense of passion in the world we live into now. You know, the Merriam-Webster dictionary version of passion that never really crossed my mind as being the same definition, but it's absolutely the same origin.
Wow. Thank you for showing me that.
Yeah, you're
That was
welcome.
amazing.
I got a lot of goodies on my wall. I mean, I got Mr. Potato Head down here,
Look
so
at
don't
that. I
think
can't
don't.
believe it. Of all the things to show me, it's the passion of the Christ. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Adam, and of course, your name Adam, that pretty much says everything, right? I mean, come on, bro. Perfect. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's everything by God's grace. Just a big hey, that was a tough thing for my upbringing, by the way. You know? I mean, we're all like Irish Catholic, and I got a John Paul brother and a Patrick Thomas brother, and my mom says, you know, this is how it comes about, you know, because it's all Irish. My mom says, I want a this is probably gonna be my last son, you know, my last child. So I want somebody who's not named after an Irish pope. So I get Adam, the Hebrew name, the Jewish name, and I live in a community that is so non-Jewish. It's unbelievable. It's like, how'd you get my whole life growing up? How'd you get your name? Everyone else is Michael, Patrick, you know, this and that. Everyone's Adam. Are you Jewish? No, I'm not Jewish. You know, how'd you get your name? You know? And my mom finally, I was like 25, and she explained it to me. She's like, I wanted to have a boy that wasn't named after a pope.
So I know this is not protocol, but I want to ask you a question.
Okay, go ahead. No, it's fine. It's
Here we
fine.
go. What what is the jazz for you in what you do in dentistry? What is the fuel? What's things after all these years, all the things you've gone through, what now in your life is speaking to some of these other younger dentists,
Yeah.
what's still the jazz for you?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's you know, that's tough to define in one word, but I'll get to that one word in a minute. Because I think it evolves and I think it started with people. You know, people I trademarked "We treat people, not teeth" 20 years ago in dentistry. And it started with people, and then it started with making their life better and their confidence, things like that. And then I think it turned into giving people hope, all right, for a better future. And then now it's a word that I think I was given. It's borrowed from a patient. When I have this on video, I was doing this reveal for this patient, her brand new teeth. And, you know, we were all like so happy and rah, 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 you know, and like, oh my God, look, she's going to see her new teeth now. You know, that moment where it's like, oh, she's going to see her new teeth. And she started to cry and she stole the show when she turned and looked at me and she put tears in my eyes. And she said, what you're doing is not dentistry. And I looked at her and I said, really? Because it felt a lot like I was doing dentistry.
Was
You
that a
know?
compliment?
She said, and no, but it was a serious pause. And there was 30, this was at an institute class. So there was like 30 people in the room. And she said, what you're doing is not dentistry, it's ministry. And
Say
she
that
said,
again. No, repeat that again.
she said,
What
what you're doing is not dentistry, it's ministry. And when I thought about how what I do gives people new life and hope. I thought that was perfect. So what drives me is really ministry. And, I don't hesitate to talk about God. I mean, before we go into surgery, I say I do everything through God's hands. God works through my hands. I'm going to do the best I can, but I'm only human. And this is God. And I don't care if it bothers them or offends them. And what I found is 99% of the time, they're right there with me. Like and nobody's ever offended if I say that. So, and if they were, they're probably in the wrong place. But I haven't had been challenged on that yet. So really, like, I'm not, I'm not a saint. I don't wear a white collar. I don't even pretend to be,
You, doc,
that,
you don't
but
even wear a collar.
I don't wear a collar. I don't wear a collar. No, I wear collars at funerals. That's about it. Weddings and funerals. No tie though. You'll never catch me in a tie. But yeah, it's ministry. It's the hope. It's giving people hope and of a better tomorrow. That's all that we really have that's good in this world is the hope for a better tomorrow.
I love that because the word ministry is defined as to meet a need. That's the word. The word ministry is to meet a need. And I want to give a word to some of the older dentists, and I want to share this with you as you get older, as I'm getting older. When we were younger, we would run marathons. That's the kind of race we'd be. We'd be in these marathons. We're gonna be creative. We're gonna be successful. We're gonna make some money. We're gonna go. We would run marathons. But as you get older, the race goes from a marathon to a relay. And the relay is not an individual effort, it's a team effort.
Mm-hmm.
And a relay is not dependent upon your individual speed, your individual success, but the thing that makes you powerful in a relay is your ability to pass the baton with accuracy. That's called legacy. Because at the end of the day, it's not what you take with you that's going to be important, it's what you're leaving behind.
Right.
So when it comes to dentistry, as leaders, I ask them all the time, are you passing the baton with accuracy so that the generation that's coming can run along with you until you're no longer running? That to me, because there, gosh, come on, bro. There's so many things that are happening where we're not passing the baton, and so what's happening is that we no longer exist. We've planned beautifully for a future that doesn't exist anymore. But when you're investing into the younger generation and passing the baton, they're not going to get no, pass it so the race can continue. That's what's important. That's leadership. And I think that for me, I don't know if this was a compliment. I was speaking a few days ago, and the dentist came up to me and he goes, "You know what you are, Gary?" I go, "What?" And I've never heard this. She goes, "You're a sage. You're a sage." I go, "That rhymes with age." I go, so I looked up what a sage was, and it's an old person that wears robes that walks around giving wisdom, depositing wisdom.
Right.
And I go, yes, I am a sage because of the age. But we all are. And and Adam, that's what you do, bro. You deposit wisdom into people's lives beautifully. And they leave not with a ton of information, but I've seen people leave with transformation. When I was with you and Sharice and I left, or when I left, I said, honey, I was transformed. I want to be around that. I want to hear more about that guy. But of course, I can, hey, Adam, can I hang out with you, please? Can I please come back and hang out with you? I'm not a groupie. I'm not an Adam groupie, okay? Forget, I'm not going to happen.
Well, I don't want you to hang around too long. You might be disappointed. Take me in small bursts.
But man,
I could say the same
you.
about you. I've been looking forward to getting back in touch with you for a long time. It's been a year. I could take you down, everything we've been through, but it's been a year. And here we finally got a chance to catch up again. So this has been a really great conversation. I'm really glad and happy that we got to faith in this conversation as well, and dentistry and ministry and hope and the passion of Christ. I'm really happy that we did that. Like I say, everything is done scripted, but I think that's a perfect place to sort of leave off. I don't know that it can get any better than that. But before I do leave that off, I want to let the world know that Gary Zalesky is available to speak at your engagements for your companies, for your referral bases. And do you want to talk a little bit about that and consulting as well?
Yeah, if you have me speak, it's 100% non-refundable deposit because I don't know if I'll make it.
It's for the wife and the grandchildren.
My wife would kill me. No, I would love to dialogue with you. My email address is gary@garyzalesky.com. I answer my own emails, kinda, and I would love to make contact with you, see if we can bring some magic. And it would be a lot of fun. I would love to hear from you.
And people you do need, he talked to my group a couple of years ago, and he had like the people in the room who like never sit together and look at each other. He had them, we went out to a staff outing afterwards, and they were like holding each other's hands and buying each other drinks, and like, what can I do? And they were all getting along for at least 3 days after you left.
I should say this because I don't know if you endorse something like this, but I do a lot of referral dinners and referral events. So if you're in a referral situation, you're wanting to bring those doctors and their teams together. It's a great night of education, laughter, fun, but it's the perfect way to say thank you to those dentists for what they do.
No, not so fast, my friend, because you just stole my thunder. All right, because I was going to leave on this. So
I was joking. No,
this is not scripted, everybody. We're not scripting this. I was going to close by inviting you. I'm going to invite you to Virginia Beach this next year, and I'm going to do the same thing for my referral base. And I want to get an auditorium, and I'm looking for the place right now. And I want you to bring your beautiful wife, and I want you to come speak. I want our referral doctors and all of our potential referral doctors as well. And I'll just open up to dentists in the community, and they can bring their staffs, and we're gonna foot the bill and all that. But I want to hear this area of Virginia Beach, Virginia, Tidewater, Virginia, to get the same message that you gave to my team 2 years ago.
Thank you. Yeah, I will say that I've been doing the referral thing for many years. To me, it's one of the best investment you can make because anytime you can say thank you to the people that make your practice run, wow, that's perfect. And I am so thrilled. Get that on the books, bro, because you never know, right? I mean,
none of us ever know. I mean, dude,
you never know. I'll tell you what,
know.
By the way, you don't have to twist my arm to come to Virginia Beach ever. I mean, what a beautiful area. So my wife's going to be thrilled. She wants to meet you.
Thank you very much. Well, you and your wife are always welcome. So just let me know. We'll talk offline in a text. But this has been great, Gary. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Great, very genuine conversation. You're very easy to chat with.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
And everyone else listening on Pod app or on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed this conversation and share it with your friends. And they don't have to be dentists. Gary talks in other industries as well, even aviation and space and whatever. So you guys share it and like it, please, and leave a comment. Thank you very much. Gary, I'll chat with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
I'm gonna go get a nap in real quick.
Same. I'm gonna nap at the office before I go home to that little one. All right, that was Gary. Listen, we got a lot of great stuff coming up at the Institute, by the way. Business courses in just a couple of days, but it'll be held again. Remote Anchorage, Core Anchorage, May 15th through 17th. That's going to be 3 days, live surgery, didactics, Type It On, and Cadaver Lab as well. And then we start over with the Core Continuum in Module 1. We start it the second half of the year in August. So take a look online for classes that we're offering, and look for that business class to come up soon. Again, I don't have another date yet, but you don't want to miss it. It'll change your life and the way you practice forever. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Thanks for listening. Remember, with all on X, you've got to go all in. You've got to go all in, all on X. All right, folks, have a great night. Talk to you soon. Hey, if today's conversation resonated with you and you're looking to sharpen not just your technique, but your judgment, your discipline, and your long-term vision, then this is exactly why we built the Atlantic Implant Institute. This is not just some weekend course or module. This is not just some highlight reel. This is not just some collection of disconnected modules. This is the core continuum for education and full arch workflow. It begins with Module 1, Core Bootcamp Fundamentals, where we establish surgical foundations, diagnostic discipline, and repeatable decision-making under real-world pressure. And then it continues with Module 2, Advanced Prosthetics and Full Digital Workflow, where occlusion, vertical dimension, aesthetics, condyles, and execution all converge. And then we have Module 3, which tackles remote anchorage, pterygoids, zygomatics, complex anatomy, taught through biomechanics, planning for predictable outcomes. We also teach FP1 philosophy, not just FP3 solutions. And after the continuum, we have modules in FP1 fixed immediate load and also business, how to 5. This is business, leadership, and operational strategy so that you can build surgically what actually works in practical business. If you're ready to go into full arch dentistry with intention, structure, accountability, and purpose, you can learn more at theatlanticimplantInstitute.com.